right, hello, this is Janet from Paper and Spark, and today I am here to walk you through how to use the Etsy import add-on spreadsheet. Now, all of my import add-on spreadsheets are designed to be used with one of your main seller spreadsheets. So this spreadsheet isn't going to be used by itself. I'm assuming that you already have the Amazon seller spreadsheet or the PayPal seller spreadsheet, Shopify seller spreadsheet, etc. And you want to be able to quickly and easily import your Etsy sales and fees into whatever seller spreadsheet you've already got. So that's what I'm going to walk you through what to do today. If you are new to your main seller spreadsheet, I suggest that you watch the videos for that spreadsheet first and learn how to use that tool, and then come back over here and learn how to use your import add-on. Your purchase will include the import add-on file, which is going to be good for the current year and any future or past years. It does not use dated formulas, unlike your main seller spreadsheet. All you have to do to change it from year to year is change your date right here on the main tab. And it also includes the PDF instructions with screenshots and access to this video tutorial. So let's get started. All right, now you're going to notice that the spreadsheet is set up as a similar but simplified version of your main seller spreadsheet. It's got the blue monthly import tabs down here that we're going to import your Etsy order CSV file into each month. It's got a summary tab that's going to summarize all the information from what we import, and then it's also got its own sales tax tab. So the first thing to do is see exactly how we do the Etsy import. So to do that, you're just going to navigate to your Etsy shop, and you can go to your orders. From the orders screen, you can just scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see this link, download a CSV file with details. So from this screen, you will go to your orders CSV as the type of file you want to download, and then choose whatever month and year you want to download. So right now I'm going to do January 2016, and then click download CSV. It's going to go to your hard drive. You can open it in whatever spreadsheet software you've got, and this is what it's going to look like once you open the order CSV file. Okay, now there is one extra step that you need to do right here. If you're using numbers, make sure you refer to the PDF instructions for that. It's after step number 5. If you're using Excel or Google Sheets, you can just keep going with this video. So we want to select everything except for the header, the first row. So to do that, I'm going to click on this number 2 right here, and that's going to select the whole row, and then I'm going to drag down until all my data in this CSV file is highlighted, okay, until I get to the last row. Then I'm going to copy. You can do that either by going to the Edit Copy menu, or you can right-click and copy. Once you see the little dancing ants around your selection, you know that it's copied. And then I'm going to go back to my Etsy import add-on spreadsheet. I'm going to click on my January tab, and then I'm going to just select row 2 again by clicking the 2 to the left of the row, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste, or you can edit paste. So now my data has been dumped into the January tab, and I should be able to go over to my Etsy summary tab and see some amounts generated on all these light blue rows, and I do. So we're good to go with the import. So real quick, you might be wondering what's included in this Etsy sales number. This is basically going to be the sale amount of your order, including any discounts, plus the sales tax that you collected. All right, so it is coming from this order total column. So it already includes sales tax collected, and then you'll notice we also have shipping. The shipping is going to be stated separately. Shipping that a customer pays you is considered revenue, so we're breaking that out and stating it separately here. Now, refunds, unfortunately, from your Etsy orders report are not going to be automatically imported here. You're going to have to enter that manually. Now, to figure out your refunds, you can go take a look at the import file that you just did and look at these columns over here, Z, AA, and AB. These are going to be your adjusted order columns, and you're only going to have amounts showing up here if you issued a refund. The tricky thing is that Etsy's not going to tell you how much you issued a refund for. All right, they're just going to show you the after effect of the refund basically. So here I have a item that I sold for $29.99, and then after I issued a refund, the adjusted order total was $15. Okay, so that means that I refunded $14.99 of this item. Okay, if you see amounts in those adjusted order columns and you need to just get out your calculator and back out the amount that you refunded, you would just do your order total minus the new adjusted order total to figure out how much you refunded. So I know I refunded $14.99, so I'm going to equal $14.99 for January refunds, okay? Now remember, refunds always need to be entered as a negative amount. And if you have more than one amount refunded each month, you can type that as a simple formula. You do that by starting with the equal sign, and then you type the amount that you refunded, $14.99. And if I issued like another $14.99 refund, I do minus $14.99 again. All right? So the refund is going to reduce your revenue. Now the only other thing that I want to mention about refunds that Etsy does real trickily is that if you ever fully refund an order, if you issue a complete 100% refund, you'll see zeros showing up in this column. So that will let you know that you refunded the total amount of the sale. And then finally, if you ever cancel an order, you cancel and completely refund an order, it's not going to show up on this Etsy order CSV file at all, okay? So you don't need to worry about doing anything with it because the sale's not going to get pulled in. So you don't need to issue a refund for a sale that's not even showing up anywhere over here. Just something to note. All right, so now that we've covered refunds and your import, let's quickly take a look at how to find your Etsy listing and transaction fees. We'll head back to our Etsy shop and you can just navigate to Finances, your bill. And you want to look at your statement for whatever month you're working in. So since we're doing January 2016, I'm going to go to View All Statements. Okay, so here's my bill and my summary of the month's activity from January 2016. So we're going to take a good look at this table, this little chart right here that kind of summarizes all our fees, and this is what we're going to enter in our Etsy seller spreadsheet. All right, so first let's take a look at our listing fees and our transaction fees. This is what Etsy is charging me to renew things or to list new items. Actually, the renew is going to be over here in the renew sold or one of the others. So you've got to take a look at these guys right here. All these rows are going to be your Etsy listing and transaction fees. So we're just going to add them together on this green row right here. And again, to do that, it's just a simple formula. You're going to do the equal sign, $1 plus 103.84 plus 20 cents plus 80 cents plus $15.20. Okay, so I had $21.04 of Etsy listing and transaction fees. Something else to keep in mind, this bill right here, this statement, it does not include your Etsy direct checkout fees, okay? Those are going to be here. The only way you can find those Etsy direct checkout fees is from your Etsy order CSV file. They're not going to show up on your bill. That's because your direct checkout fees, they're taken out of your sales before Etsy even deposits the money into your account. You never even see that expense. Your deposits are already netted from that. but you do have to actually pay out of pocket or out of your shop account for these fees right here. So I don't use Etsy for my shipping labels, but you might. And you might also see some other stuff showing up on this bill, like promoted listings, or I think you can do like Google ad promotions from Etsy now. You might see some other items showing up here, and those just need to be entered wherever it makes sense on your main seller spreadsheet. So if you've got a shipping label expense here, you should go over to your main seller spreadsheet, and on that yellow postage tab, you can enter the shipping expense that you're paying Etsy for those shipping labels. If you've got promoted listing fees, you can enter that on your advertising expense tab on your main seller spreadsheet. Just enter those where applicable. Let's now take a look at your sales tax tab, and I'll explain a little bit about how that works. This tab is also pulling everything you need for sales taxes from your imported Etsy data. So the first thing that you need to do is input the 2-letter abbreviation of whatever state you're collecting sales tax from. In my case, that's Texas, so I enter TX. Now the spreadsheet is going to tell me how much Etsy actually collected from my customers on my behalf for sales tax. This number, it's just what Etsy did. It's not necessarily correct because it depends on what you set your shop up to do. So if you didn't set up your shop to charge the right sales tax rate, this number is not really going to mean anything. It's just telling you what Etsy actually collected on your behalf. So hopefully you have your shop set up correctly for sales tax. Then these rows are going to tell us a little bit more info. You need to take some time to read your Etsy import instructions PDF because I go into a little bit more detail about sales tax and how it can work in your state. Your main seller spreadsheet probably also has some very good info on this. But bottom line, you need to know how to interpret this info for what your specific state requires because every state's going to be different. So, since some states charge shipping on sales tax and some states do not, I have given you both scenarios on this spreadsheet. This first little section includes shipping, so this is my total sales on Etsy, including shipping, but not including sales tax. So you might need this for your sales tax form if they want your total sales to everyone, everywhere, including shipping, but excluding sales tax. And this is all my in Texas sales, including shipping. And then it's the same thing here, my gross sales, excluding shipping, and my total in Texas sales, excluding shipping. Now, Texas actually charges sales tax on shipping, so if I'm filling that form out, I need this number. This is the amount that they're going to charge that Texas sales tax rate to. But if you live somewhere where they don't charge sales tax on shipping, then this will be the number that you use. Remember that this is just for your Etsy sales. So on your main seller spreadsheet, you've probably got some sales from other sources. You're going to need to add those sales to these sales and those in-state sales to these in-state sales to get the numbers that you need to report on your sales tax form. That pretty much sums up how to input and interpret data into your Etsy import spreadsheet. I'll briefly talk about how you can transfer this information over to your main seller spreadsheet. Alright, so I've opened up a sample copy over here of a PayPal seller spreadsheet for 2016, and I will just walk you through how you would input this info in whatever main seller spreadsheet you're using. So first of all, there's a couple of different ways we can do it. We could be real easy, and if you've got any custom rows down here, you can just rename it to whatever you want. And let's say I'm going to just say Etsy net sales. And then I will take the total Etsy revenue for the month. That includes my shipping received and subtracts out my refunds issued. And I can just enter that total right here. And be good to go. Now I've got my Etsy info here. And then I would want to do the same thing with my expenses. You might want to lump it together and just say all Etsy selling expenses go here. And remember, you don't need to enter your expenses as negatives. The spreadsheet already knows. And I've entered that there, and now I'm good to go. And then when sales tax time comes, I'll just need to remember to add whatever might be here to whatever's showing up here for my report. If I really want to, I could even add those numbers over here to keep track of it all in one place. But you don't have to do that. And then the important thing would be to save your import file so that you know how you came up with these amounts, right? Now there is a little more detailed way to do it if you want, and just in case you don't have any more custom rows to rename, I'm going to show you how to add rows to the spreadsheet. Alright, so let's say you want to be real detailed and you want to add a row for all three of these guys on your existing main seller spreadsheet. So what you would do is click the row for where you want to add it. So I'm going to insert 3 new rows and I want them to go underneath Facebook sales. So I'm going to select rows 9, 10, 11, and then you can either go to insert rows or you can right click insert and it's just going to automatically insert rows. Okay, so I'm going to name those Etsy sales, shipping, and refunds. I'm going to simply type in what was over there. And now I've got my amounts there. Okay, so the only tricky part with adding rows like this is that the monthly sum and the yearly sum doesn't necessarily always automatically adjust for those new amounts, those new rows that you added. So we've got to check and make sure that it's doing that. And to do that, first you're going to have to unlock the tab. No passwords required. I'm going to go to Review and Sheet. And now this tab is unlocked. Be careful, right? Okay, so here is my total revenue. I'm going to click in the formula bar up here and I'm going to see, okay, it is including all those cells. If it wasn't, then I would need to adjust this sum to make sure it was including all the way down to B12, all those newly added cells. So I'm just going to click enter to get out of it because it's good to go. If you did have to adjust it, like let's say it looked like this, okay? If you did need to adjust it, all you would need to do is select the bottom right hand corner and drag that formula down to include it and then hit enter. And then to make sure that all your months are updated to include those cells, you again could go to the bottom right hand corner and just drag over to make sure they're all good to go. Now, the problem that you're most likely going to have when you insert new rows is that the annual column is not going to automatically sum those new rows. So again, I can just take this formula from above it, click and drag down, and now it's automatically going to apply the formula that was in that cell to those cells as well. So now I've got annual sums for my Etsy sales, shipping and refunds, and everything is good to go. And you could do the same thing for the expense section if you wanted to insert 2 new rows there too. You might need to change the color formatting, but you could put in your Etsy listing and transaction fees here and your Etsy direct checkout fees here. Make sure to update the annual sum right here and make sure that it's including them in your total expenses, which if you insert it in the middle of some data that it's already summing, it's going to automatically include those new rows in that sum already for you. Anytime that you unlock this tab to adjust the formulas, I always recommend that you relock it when you're done. You're going to get this little pop-up, no passwords required, and you can just hit OK. That will just keep you later on from accidentally deleting or overriding a formula or an amount that you don't want to delete or override. So that's how you can pretty quickly and easily transfer the data that your import add-on is calculating for you over to your main seller spreadsheet so you can have everything nice and handy in one place.